Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. So thank you to the new people that have recently joined, whether you have clicked on this thumbnail today and thought, you know what, I'm going to come and give you a watch, or whether you've just recently come along in the last week or so. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the cover of the book that has now been released and the title. And my thoughts around this. And I'm also going to be wrapping up a little bit about the Variety magazine. I've just done, if you haven't seen the last two videos that I've done on that, they will be in the well, just prior to this one. The waffle that I normally do, which for those of you who don't know what that is, it's where I just talk about anything and everything, some things that you might not care about, but I might care about, or it's just, yeah, a bit of everything. That will be either at the end of this video, or if this one goes on too long, I will do a separate video on that. If you want to know a little bit more about this channel, there is an intro video where it will be in the link. It will be in the link. No, the link will be in the description box of this video. So you can check that out, where it tells you a little bit more about myself and what the Bubble family truly means, because so many of you ask me. It is all in there and it tells you everything. So yeah, that being said, if you want to join, then please do. So if you don't know by now, you should grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, whether it be a glass of water, because you are thinking of detoxing before Christmas, like some of you might do. Maybe I should. Whether you would like a cappuccino, whether you are like me, which I enjoy my cherries and berries. And for so many of you that ask me, this is actually a UK drink. It's a squash that you dilute with water. And it's from Asda. Now, I have checked out, for those of you in America, I don't know about other areas, but in the United States, in Walmart, they do a cherry, like a cordial that you dilute with water, and they do a berries. So what I would suggest is you buy the two, mix it together, and then you'll have a very similar drink to what I've got. And for the rest of you, if you want to add a little something to that drink to give it a little bit of a kick, because as I always say, and the flag behind me says, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. So, before we get started, I'm just going to put in a little advert here. Now, it's my first one, so please bear with me. I was actually contacted by a company, and I will explain that to you in this little advert. So if you want to skip this, that's entirely your choice, but maybe it's something that you might be interested in. So maybe please give it a watch. And after that, I will continue with what I'm going to be talking about. So see you in a minute. So one of the things I've always been a little bit curious about is the world of like tarot and psychic mediums. I mean, I watch things on television, and I think some things you can take or leave, but I definitely feel that there is something there. I've seen enough, especially even on YouTube, tarot readers, that I'm kind of like, wow, actually there's something there. So when I was contacted by somebody who said, you know, we've seen your channel, we really like the way you think and the sort of the way you're growing, would you be interested in doing, you know, coming and having this experience with a psychic medium or a tarot reader, etc. And then hopefully then if you like it, get something from it, then promoting that on your channel. Initially, I was kind of like, I don't know, because I'm very, very skeptical of who do I use for this platform. I've always said that I have a lot of people that contact me, and I always say no if it doesn't fit with how I want this channel to be presented, whether I think it's something that's genuine or something that you guys would be interested in. Now, I know that there are a lot of you on here, because I see many of you saying, oh, you know, have you seen this tarot YouTube channel, or have you seen this? You know, so I know there's a lot of you on here that do follow those. So I was kind of like, well, okay, so it's not just about how I think and feel. Maybe this is something that you guys would be interested in. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try it, because if I don't like it, or I think it's not quite in keeping with what I want, then I won't promote it. So obviously by the fact that I'm doing this video and you're seeing it says that actually I did it and I really liked it and I did get something from it. Now I get it's not for everybody. And again, it's one of those things that if you don't like it, don't agree with it, fine, that's not for you. But these are for the people that I do know that do like these things. And I thought if I can do it in a way and then you get a promotional code. So then if you want to try it, you're getting it a lot cheaper than perhaps you would if you went somewhere else. So let me say that I did speak to this lovely lady called Michelle. I had I think a 25-minute, half-hour session with her. I was very skeptical. I'm very much somebody that kind of goes in and I don't say anything. And she come up with some things that, let's just say, there's no way she could have known it. She didn't know who I was. I mean, I'm aware that obviously she did know that I did a YouTube channel. I'm not sure exactly, but so even that I was kind of like, oh, she could see and she could perhaps look me up. But even with that, there were things that she said, some things about my past that nobody knows. And I mean, nobody. She mentioned something about this man in my life and that he wore a particular sort of coat and described it. And I didn't know what that one was. So I spoke to my mum and my mum was like, oh my gosh, that's your granddad. And so I was like, oh, wow. So there was a lot of things that I was kind of like, huh. She sort of, and some of the things that she said, like with the reading, she was kind of like, this has happened. And again, these are not things that are on the public domain. So there's no way, even if she saw me here, there's no way she could know this stuff. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm actually quite intrigued by this. Like I say, this is not for everybody, and I truly understand that. But if this is something that perhaps, because they do things like numerology, astrology, they do the tarot cards. There's, I believe there's psychic mediums, angel cards. What else they do? I've got a little list here. Yeah, they use spirit guides apparently. So and they are some of the UK biggest psychic influencers. So I was kind of like, you know what? I can't judge it if I've not experienced it. If I don't try it, I can't judge it. So I did it and I was pleasantly surprised. Now, obviously, I think there are some things that she said that potentially in the future. So these are things I don't know. But for some of the things that she did say that were about my past or things that are happening around like now, I was kind of like, yeah, okay. There's no way she could have known that because nobody knows it. And especially the stuff about my granddad. So I was very blown away by that. So I just wanted to kind of give you this honest perspective. Like I say, you don't have to use it. There is a link which will be in the description box of my video. So you get quite a percentage off by clicking on that link. And it's it's all online. Apparently they do these live kind of, what are they called? That are psychic shows. So they do live online. There's a website that you can get it on App Store, Google Play. And I just think if it's something you're interested in, give it a go. If you're not, don't worry about it. So I thought I'll just put this out here because it's the first time I've done this kind of advert. And I thought, you know what? When I do things, it's not just about what I like or don't like. It's also what you guys like and don't like. And I do know that a lot of you recommend tarot readers to me or things like that. And so, yeah. So I thought, well, if I give you this, you can do it, not do it, entirely your option. But if it's going by what I think, then I would say, you know what, if it's something you're curious about, then this might be a good way to do it because you get a really good discount. And these people just seem incredibly credible to me. So, yeah. So let me know what you think about that. And hopefully no judgment. Like I say, you don't have to do it, but if you're curious about it, then give it a go. So as we know by now, we have seen the release of the front cover of Harry's memoir, should I say, that is going to be coming out, which apparently is now in January. Rather an odd, and I put a picture of it up here if you haven't seen it. Wherever. Now, Firstly, it's being released in January, so I'm a little bit confused by the release in January, because you would have thought to capitalize on something, you would have done it in December, because then perhaps some people might have bought it as a Christmas present. So he's done it in January when not a lot of people have got money. And so I'm thinking, is this a calculated move? Now, tell me, you guys, in the comments, is there something going on around January? I'm hearing that it potentially could coincide with, is it Charles and Camilla's visit to Australia? I don't know. I tried to look on the Royal website, but for some reason I couldn't seem to see when they were doing this tour. Ugh, eyelashes are hitting my glasses. So I don't know. Now, I believe that William and Catherine are going in December. So could it be that he didn't release it in December because of the fact they were going to America in, I believe, in December? Is it for the Earth shot? I don't know. But I just have this feeling that, or is it done in January because this is going to be the lead up to the coronation? Now, I've been told, and I believe it's true, is that there's going to be, is it a series of 3 or 4 books that he's been paid to release? And the first one, from what I'm seeing, is going to be around the death of his mother. I mean, I feel like we've heard everything there is to hear about this. I feel it's very sad that he's doing this again. Now, don't get me wrong. As a high profile person, he's not the first person to release a book about himself. And I do understand, and I'm not critiquing him for releasing a book because so many others have done it. I think I struggle with the fact that if this is going to be, the first book is really going to be capitalizing again on his mother's death around all of that, because he was it 12 years old? It's a lot of his memories that he's going to have, say now, are not going to be necessarily what you would have at 12. So you have the fact that you would have changed a lot since then. Would he remember a lot of his memories at 12? Not necessarily. And also as well, a lot of them can be distorted. So I'm wondering, I don't know if this is going to be, I mean, it's still his experience, don't get me wrong, but I wonder if this is going to be the stuff around his father, the stuff around Camilla, the affair. And I just think this is incredibly poor taste, given the fact that his father is now the King of England, given the fact that he's about to go, and they are about to have their coronation in May. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what is being said right now, but we have had the little snippet where it does look like there is going to be pictures of him walking behind the coffin with his brother. And again, it's like, has he spoken to his brother about this? Because, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have this agreement that they were only ever going to talk about their mother together? But I think they were only going to do that one interview. But it seems that Harry, ever since he's got with Meghan, and ever since he's left the folds of the royal family and moved abroad, all he's ever done is talk about his mother and how this has affected him. It's like every single interview it gets brought up. How much more is there to say? And then not only that, every single time he does that, he must know. He's not, I mean, I know that people say he's a bit dim, but he's not that dim that he doesn't know that this would also affect his brother, affect his father, affect Camilla, and perhaps other members of the royal family. It seems very, just from the outside looking in, it seems an incredibly selfish, immature way to behave. And we've seen that Harry can behave this way, because this is like, for example, one of my kids on a smaller scale going and putting out this huge public statement, perhaps of what an awful parent I was, or how, like, if they'd lost a parent and how I dealt with that. you know, maybe at the time I wouldn't have dealt with it very well. Like Charles perhaps didn't deal with it very well. And he from what we've heard, is that he wasn't around as much. He went and sought solace with Camilla a lot of the time, and he wasn't with the children as much. Now, I'm sure that as a father now, he's looking back at that and probably regretting that type of behavior. But when we deal with grief, we don't know how to deal with things. And sometimes we just do the things that we do. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. You know, we would love to think that in any given moment that we will deal with it the right way. But we don't know. We're human and we are flawed. And so in that moment, should he have been around for the kids? Yes, of course. But he was also dealing with whatever he was dealing with. And whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, that is the facts. He dealt with it the way he did, rightly or wrongly. And to then have that thrown up later, and I'm just surmising here, I don't know if this is what he's going to be talking about, but it just felt as if I was, you know, if this was me and it'd be like, say, one of my family members really sort of bringing out all the mistakes that I made when I was, when something terrible had happened, and then the public then judging, like people can do on social media, then making that judgment against me now for something that I did years and years and years ago, which is in effect kind of what he's doing. He's throwing all this up. And then this is also around the fact that you've got the new series of The Crown that's coming out very soon. So it makes me kind of think you're going to have everything that's kind of gone on with The Crown. And I do wonder if this was a calculated move to wait till The Crown had come out. So we know that everything is embellished. And even though there's a fraction of truth to it, but they embellish it to make it watchable. So then you have the fact that Charles and Camilla are not shown in the best light, especially when it comes to their mother. And so is it kind of like, well, we're going to have that, and then that's going to be going on kind of into November, early December. And then it's kind of like that's going to die down a little bit. And then he's going to bring the book out and it's going to bring it all up again. And so is that why he's done it? Because it seems a bit strange to me that he didn't maybe want the book. It's almost like because he works for Netflix, I wonder if Netflix have said, we don't want your book coming out in December because this is around the time that The Crown is coming out and we don't want anything to deflect from that. But how about, you know, we've got The Crown coming out, there's going to be a lot of kind of curiosity and people watching that, then let that die down a bit, then bring out your book. And people then that haven't watched The Crown are probably then going to want to go back and watch The Crown because they're going to be like, oh, you know, is that in there? I think it's very calculated. It's very salacious, and I just think it's very cruel what he's doing. I would be mortified, absolutely mortified. This, you know, how would Harry feel if his father literally released a book on everything that Harry has done wrong as a child? And as his child as an adult, brought out the truth of what his wife had done. They, you know, the whole bullying thing that come out, the fact that they didn't release it says to me that there was some truth, some real truth to it. Because if there wasn't, they would have said, yeah, we've done our research, we've looked into it, and the investigation has been done. We haven't found anything. But by the fact that they didn't, says that in a way they were trying to protect Meghan. And I imagine this is obviously probably around because the Queen was still alive and she was very frail. So, but they didn't release it. So it's all right for these two to just keep throwing mud at this family again and again and again. And they know that it then gets brought up in the media. They're not stupid in that way. They know that everything they do gets literally plastered across the media. So whatever is in that book that is going to be attacking Catherine, William, Charles, Camilla, who name it, that it will be in the media. Because the journalists will be reading it, that a lot of people will buy it, and people are saying, yes, it's going to be a bestseller. Well, I imagine it might be initially because people are going to be, like with Meghan's podcast, the initial ones, people want to see how bad it is. They research it. They want to bring it up on their channels, or they want to do whatever it is that they do. And I can't help but think that this is going to be the undoing. I mean, unless he has been able to go in and heavily edit some of the awful things that have been said, because like I said before in one of the videos that I did, it's possible that he's panicking because he knows that that is all he's got is the royal family. That's it. And also for the fact that, like I've always said, that I don't believe they're together, these two now. I think that they just come out for social events to act like they're together, but they're not. And so he knows that at some point, is he going to be having to go back to the royal fold? So he's either done some editing to take out a lot of things that he knows could be incredibly damaging, or he's added things in because he's angry at how the funeral of the Queen went. He's angry at how his father has behaved. So he's gone in and said, you know what, I'm going to add those things in. I'm guessing as well that he's probably gone in and added some of the editing of the Queen's funeral, because I mean, when he did this, the Queen was still alive. So I just think, and the cover, let's talk about the cover. Who in their right mind thought this was the right thing to do? To have his face and then spare. You know, the whole, even the cover screams, I'm a victim. Poor me. I was the spare. Because let's be clear, he was the spare, and even though he was never, I think, certainly never really, he was called it maybe occasionally, but it certainly wasn't something, and you don't have to be just the spare. Again, this is this very much this a way the woke people think, this new age people think, in that, oh, I'm called a name, so I'm upset by that. Because even if you like Princess Margaret was the spare, you know, the Queen's father was the spare until his brother abdicated. They knew their role, they knew their place. And you can carve other things out for yourself, that you don't have to solely just be the spare. But again, it's with Harry, it's like, well, I'm a victim. Again, I'm a victim to this. So I'm the spare to my brother. But to be honest, what's more insulting, I would think, is the fact that he's actually the spare to his wife. His wife actually thinks the way she behaves is like she's the, oh my flipping now, these eyelashes. She's the royal, and he's just the husband, her now husband. Whenever they're around, it's like she has to go first, and you know, she's always doing things that are created to be the most important. So he's the spare to her. Rather than him carving out something in his own right, and he could just do like he's had Invictus, and he should be very proud of the fact that he's doing that. Because, okay, rather than, you know, I know that he got it from the Warrior Games, and I don't believe it was initially, I don't know if it was his idea or somebody else's idea, and he just kind of come and he was like, yeah, let's do this. It was a collaborative thing. I don't know. But either way, it's still a good thing. But he just, everything he does, he's got to come across as if he's the victim, and it's poor me. And then not only that, he's doing it like the way that she did the way she did the Variety interview with this, oh, she's sitting with this opulent wealth, and she's at this ranch, and it's all, you know, high end and whatever it is. We've just come out of this pandemic where people have been locked down, people have struggled, people have lost their lives, and we're now going into the one of the biggest crises of our country, where people are struggling to pay their electricity and gas bills and worrying if they're going to get cut off, and the cost of living has just hit the roof, and everyone's struggling. And he brings out a book that I think is something like nearly, is it £30 or $30? I'm not sure, but still a lot of money. And then, but acting as if it's like, cry me a river. Like, poor me, poor little rich boy. Now, I'm not saying that rich people can't go through things. Of course they can. But don't put it out on such a public way that we're supposed to feel sorry for you. Because I'm sorry, but no. There are a lot of people that are incredibly struggling right now across the world. And we haven't got the luxury of the best doctors, the best therapists, the best that money can buy. And let's face it, he lost his mother, and it was awful what happened. But it wasn't just him. His brother lost her too. Other people lost her. The country, in a way, lost her and mourned and grieved her. And he was angry about that. But he had the best team of doctors, nurses, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, you name it, he had the best of everything at his disposal. And he had the money to go on holidays, to disappear and forget about his troubles. Other people don't have that luxury. But we're supposed to feel sorry for him. We did. But it's kind of like, you need to move on from this now. You are continually stuck in this victim narrative and this blame narrative. There comes a point in your life when you have to take responsibility for the actions that you have as an adult. You cannot keep blaming your parents. You cannot keep blaming the media. You cannot keep blaming other people, other situations for the choices that you make now. And unfortunately, I don't know who is advising Harry, but they're really advising him in the wrong way. And I just feel that this is going to be brought up in the media, but I don't think it's going to paint Harry in the best light. I really don't. When the dust has settled, I think people are going to be picking this apart. They're going to be seeing if he's lied. They're going to be then coming back at him. And I just think, how is this not going to affect his mental health? Just, you can work through these things. They don't have to be so public. And so then this comes about, is this just about money again? Is this because you've got so much money for this book deal that you feel that you've got to do this because you've got nothing else? Which is deeply, deeply sad, in my opinion, that you feel that continually just trashing your family or utilizing the fact that you were in the royal family, because even though you're moaning about it, you were given so much. It's part of the role of being born into royalty. You may not like it, and you've come away from it, but you're not acting as if you've grown in any shape or form. So I want to kind of then come away from that and just talk a little bit about my thoughts and theories on Meghan, because I want to kind of wrap up I was going to do the other few questions on the Variety magazine, but to be honest, I can't be bothered. It's just the same old stuff. But the one conclusion that I really have said, which I really do home in on now, is that I really do believe that these interviews that she does, the podcast, the cut, they really are her using these situations to come back at the people that have wronged her. And I've said this before, and this is never more apparent because now it's coming out that she was fired from or asked to leave Deal or No Deal because she was getting very up close and personal and flirty with, is it Howie Mandel, his name, or Howie Mandel, which is the main person of Deal or No Deal. And apparently his wife was not happy with how she behaved. And so I believe she was either asked to leave or she was fired. So this pretense of how it created her to feel like a bimbo, all this blah, 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 was really her doing what she's done all along in the podcast of, I was fired, so I'm now going to put this story out, because if that ever gets leaked, that I was fired, then I can say, well, actually, it was because I felt like a bimbo and I was used for my looks and made to feel really awful about myself. So it's almost like I can counteract the being fired because actually I'm going to get out there first. I'm going to put this out there first. So then when that story gets leaked, because I'm wondering if now the Queen has passed, whether certain stories are going to be coming out now. I think that she was a little bit protected because the Queen made that happen, whereas now I'm wondering if more stories are going to be leaked about her. So she's using her podcast and these interviews to put something out first before they get leaked, so then she can kind of go, no, actually it wasn't that, it was because of this. Because I also think as well is that she's also put in this Variety magazine that she's done with Hollywood, but never say never. I think that is also against Hollywood because they've rejected her. They're not interested in her. So rather than her kind of own it and kind of go, yeah, they don't want me anymore, or actually anymore never did, she's kind of going, no, yeah, I'm not interested in Hollywood. It's my decision to not go to Hollywood. And I think that's what she's doing. She's just really rewriting this narrative where people have wronged her. Like, for example, when she mentioned Legally Blonde, I'm guessing that's a slight at Reese Witherspoon for turning her down and putting out this statement about the wedding. Like, I don't even know who she is. Why would I go to her wedding? And she seems to be doing this all along. And again, with the Paris one, where she talks about the way that I think she's very envious and jealous of Paris Hilton. I think she doesn't understand how Paris has what she's got. And to her, it's kind of like, Paris, yeah, you're a bimbo. And actually, I'm the super smart, intelligent one. And I don't understand how you've got what you've got. I think this was a horrible dig at her. And then now we've got the recent one that's just come out where, again, she's doing the same type of thing. And I think a lot of this is, I've been called difficult, demanding, and all of these names. And actually, this is not who I am. I mean, the thing is, if she wasn't such an unlikable person and she hadn't lied and trashed the royal family and the British people the way that she's done, then a lot of what she could possibly say on her podcast would make some sense. There are certain things that, in a way, that I could sort of go, you know what, actually, I can agree with that. I'm not talking about her personal experiences, but some of the things that she's spoken about along the way. But unfortunately, because she's so unlikable and she's so disingenuous, you cannot help but think, you're not saying this from a genuine place. You're saying this because this has potentially happened to you and you're using this to attack people for it. You have done nothing but use your position to be critical against the media or whoever. And rather than it being about other people's experiences where, you know, she really could have used their stories and how they've grown and shaped themselves and got through something. Or she could say, you know what, I'm incredibly blessed, incredibly lucky to have the platform that I have. She could have been humble, but she hasn't. She's literally attacked it. She's had this huge opportunity presented to her by marrying into the royal family, had one of the best platforms to create change, and instead of that, she's just used it to attack and belittle and trash an institution of thousands of years, and kind of complain and moan. And that's literally what she's done. And then she's jumped on these bandwagons, thrown a bit of money from the merch well, and that's kind of it. And I think the fact that people are acting as if she's this savior to all women is just atrocious, because she's not. She's a savior to herself. She will always do that. So that's kind of my opinion. And do I potentially believe that she's had a hand in this book with Harry? Yeah. And I do wonder if she was involved in the title as well. I feel like, in a way, that if she's doing these things now, she's really setting him up to look ridiculous, if that's the case. I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing with that here, but I just feel that this is not going to go well for him. You know, I hope that if he has edited, then he's gone in and realised what he's doing and thought, you know what, I'm not going to trash my family. But I wonder if without that, without the trashing of the family, without the things that they've done, then nobody's interested, because people, they want the gossip, they want the juicy stuff. That's what they pay the money for. And I think then you're selling your soul. You basically trashed your family for money. That's it. And that's what you're going to be known for. Not for the work that you've done prior, the good humanitarian work that you've done prior to leaving the royal family. You are now known as the spare to your wife, and the fact that you are just hell-bent on ripping your family apart publicly. What a sad legacy to leave. And if you're so focused on genetic pain, Harry, what about the pain that you are potentially causing to your Casper children? You know, does that not matter then? It's like genetic pain only affects you, does it? I mean, not that I buy into this, but this, in his words, you know, he's had this genetic pain handed down by his father. Well, what about what you're doing? You're doing the same thing, because everything that's public is going to stay public. So, and eventually, you know, these kids are not going to be, I say these, well, whatever they are going to be older. So, you know, there we go. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. What are your thoughts and opinions on this, as you always do, and I appreciate them. I apologise the fact that I'm not keeping up with the comments. I'm trying to go in as best as I can. And for those of you who have asked, I don't know if I'm going to be doing a live tonight. Like I say, at the moment, I'm really trying to navigate this menopause. I am so tired by the end of the evening. I am so tired. So I kind of almost have to do it when I feel okay to do it. So it might just be a spur of the moment. You know what? I'm going live. Come and join me. And I appreciate that I won't get as many views, but that's okay, because the right people, whoever are there, will be there. So it might just be a bit of potluck here and there. I might be like, you know what, doing a live in the next hour, come and join me. So please just bear with me at the moment while I'm riding through this. I am doing the best I can to get back to everybody. Hello, Arthur. And yeah, so come and see me in the waffle, which I'll be doing in the next video. So come and join me there. If not, for the rest of you, thank you for taking part in this video. And like I say, leave me your comments. Don't forget to like. And if you want to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads, please do, because it helps the algorithm. Every link, if you want to contact me via email, if you want to treat me to a cuppa if you get something from this, and my work merchandise, you can super chat me if you like as well. Be a member, you name it, it's all in the description box of this video, so go and check that out. So have a great rest of the week. No, we are at the end of the week. Great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. So take care. Bye.